The glare. About 6 weeks back I got the not in love crap from my wife. I was shocked and floored. We have been together for 16 years with no kids. For the last 3 weeks, I tried to make myself better. More importantly, he did nice stuff. It didn't really change my wife's perspective or feelings at all. She claimed that I was too distant, didn't like doing what she liked, and laid a lot of things I did wrong on me. I read it. I worked on it. I acknowledged those things. I even researched marriage counseling. She said she wanted to move out and have some space. I begged her that it was not the right thing to do for us. I really stood back and looked through the relationship from 2,500 feet, and things were not adding up. I did a little sniping and found she had been having an affair with a work colleague on mutual work trips for about a year. I have some texts discussing him among friends. No hard evidence. When I confronted her about OM, she denied ever cheating on me or having an emotional affair. You can tell by her attitude after being confirmed that she is sunken, riddled with guilt. I'm going to contact a lawyer tomorrow. I cannot live with the betrayal. Do the 180. Wait until the divorce is final to tell mutual friends and her family. I want to do it before she beats me to it. These are the texts. Let me know if I am jumping to conclusions. W. This is so hard. W. I've even been distancing myself from OM to try and not complicate my feelings more, and it doesn't change how I feel. Friend, blah blah, you need space. I have a text from other man the other night. You wanted a text. Did you fall asleep? Only text and thread as she must be deleting them. Text from same as before friend part of longer message. I had no idea you were not happy in your marriage. I had no idea you were talking to another man. The talking is what got me. Maybe it is just talking. I also have photo of them from an event my wife never told me about. During a work trip, I think I have substantial evidence of at least an emotional affair and, like many have said, likely physical. Not sure if I should keep digging or just get it over with. On an amusement park ride together, my wife would always tell me if she did something like an amusement park on a work trip, but not mention of this at all. I look forward to showing it to her. They live thousands of miles apart, but work trips for Project bring them go together even 8 weeks or so. It's over, no doubt. I would never be able to trust again. I begged and pleaded the first 4 weeks, but in the last couple days since finding out have given her zero attention. Now she is asking me if we can sleep together. I am having a hard time dealing with the love I still have for her and being too hard on her for circumstantial evidence. But I am sticking to my way. The last 2 days I have done the 180. It's a complete shift for her. Acting like a sad puppy dog, constantly trying to connect. For baby now I was acting on the weeks prior. Not sure if this is a further sign of guilt. My head and heart are defiantly in 2 different places. I may need to go see someone to talk. My heart breaks for what my head says I need to do. We had an emotional talk this morning. She is going to move out for a period of weeks while we both figure out what we want. I mentioned that I was now at the same place she was a month ago, wanting space to figure out the relationship. She was resistant to leaving and gave many reasons why she couldn't. But I stuck to my guns and has an answer for every excuse. I know this goes against some of the advice I have received on here, but I do want to use the time apart to really think about what I want. I don't want to do anything that I cannot turn back on. My plan is evaluating if I could ever trust again. If I think after reflection, I want to ask her again and give her a chance to be honest. Maybe over the next few weeks I will change my mind on that. But I know I did contribute to the affair, but that is by no means a reason to have one. 2,000 miles apart. They are at separate companies and it was a joint project that brought them together monthly. She would also have to cross national border, which is not allowed right now. But I don't disagree the affair will continue via the cell phone. But it had been right under my nose the last month anyways. Typical stuff, wanting to make me food, water all the plants before she goes, take care of me. In discussions today I get the impression she knows I know. Gave her some chances to confess but she did not. I want to cool off for a couple days before I prevent evidence and give her an ultimatum. Update, with some to myself last night I did some review of everything I had. It turns out the photo on the amusement park ride is not her. It's someone who looks very much like her, but with very close review there are a few distinguishing features that are missing. It's an action shot on a ride, think Disneyland style. I am trying to not let this ease my position as I do still have the texts between her and friend, text from him, and that they were traveling to same city several times in the last several months. But I am glad I won't present anything that can be disputed when I confront. Update, confronted her today about other man, not revealing my sources or how much I know. She did admit to the affair, said it was just emotional, has been ongoing for 5 months, with flirting for a year, but she did also admit to texting with him, and sharing explicit Snapchat videos a number of times in the last month. She also admitted to telling him she loved him. Fever sting. They have been taking daily since February. She tried to deflect blame many times to me but I stood my ground. She at first seemed more interested how I found out. She was not overly excited to block him and delete contact. I asked her to text him to say it was over and never contact her again. A grad she messaged him saying, "My husband found out, it's over, you contact me again or he will inform your company." She did block him, delete Snapchat, I told Hermit after this time if he contacts her not to reply to tell me. I also said if I find out at any time she talked to him. After today we were done, no questions asked. I'm going to NC for a week or so to decide what I want. In the meantime, locks have been changed. Need time to reflect. And I know I am only getting partial truth. I am going worst case scenario for everyone until proven otherwise. I'm never going to know the full truth. What was said, what was done. Snapchat is not traceable. Neither is Instagram DM, where they seem to have done a lot of communicating. I have to think about myself. I can cut this clean and restart. Why put myself through all the work it will take? And after that, will I ever be able to trust her? To look at her the same way? She left the house, said crying, talking about how she did want to fix things and didn't want to leave. When she did leave, she jumped on a call with him for 40 minutes. Then laid in bed that night and played dirty message time while at the same time texting me saying she missed me and wanted to fix things. Snake. A couple times the last month she would come in all hot and bothered and would me like a toy. Eyes closed. Thought she just didn't want to be emotional while we went through this. Totally uncharacteristic. Now adding up, show has been watching Loverboy's video and using me to finish herself off. Makes me sick. When she left the first time, she still used non-traceable internet phoning. But when I contacted, I asked to see her phone, looked at call log. Untraceable in the fact they wouldn't show up on the cell bill. I just want to clarify that she moved out from Thew House, said I under the discussion she was moving out to give us space to work on things. When she left the house that day, she jumped on the phone with him, exchanged numerous messages that evening. When she came back the following day to get some items, I confronted her. At the point she agreed to NC and blocked, deleted, etc. I have not spoken to her since other than several apology texts, and she will do what's needs, etc. We are apart, so I cannot police if she has unblocked him, etc. But that is what it is. I did advise her that if I found out there was any contact from that second forward, I would file for divorce in seconds. I honestly thought she was being so sneaky she would never get caught. She took every stop imaginable to not allow me to find out, which would have benefited her as she would have moved out. I would have continued to blame myself and would have been nice to her in divorce. This has blown that all apart, and any attempt to R may be just that, saving face. I think if we do begin to R, I am going to have a polygraph because that is paramount. I don't know why, but that is a done deal in my mind. Well, I just got a dose of rug sweeping. WS asked if I was ready to go to marriage counseling and that she had been seeing someone individually last couple of days. I said I was not sure, but that I needed to know she was fully committed to staying together and would jump rough all the hoops required to heal. I even shared an article about betrayed spouses and how they will act and how difficult it will be. Here are some snippets of our conservation. WS, I think we need to explore if we can even make it work. We'd have to do a full reset because while what I did was wrong and I own that it is a symptom of the issues we had before and we have to fix those moving forward. Me, why did you want to move out 10 days ago but now want to try therapy and reconcile? WS, I asked for space, I didn't ask to separate. I felt quarantine was exacerbated my feelings of loneliness and disconnect. I did not want to end things, I wanted space to reflect and both of us to think how we can make relationship better. Me, but that whole time you were telling another man you loved him and having a physical relationship. That would have continued tenfold if you had your own space and didn't need to hide it from me. WS, no, that would not have. I was not sleeping with him. I never had any physical encounter whatsoever with him divided by me. You had physical encounters in your mind. WS, and you haven't ever looking at videos. Me, that's not the same as a guy you are intimately talking to and seeing, not even in the same universe. WS, it's still fantasizing about being with someone else. WS, if we can't even agree that we are equally at fault here, I don't know how we can move forward. I know what the right answer is. File for D tomorrow. I have seen more remorse from my dog for having an accident. I am currently looking for someone for just myself as I try and learn how to digest my feelings. Just want to clarify, they did not speak over text, use different apps where messages are not recoverable. She has already admitted she told him she loved him and sent and received number explicate pictures and videos. Doing the best I can, trying to stay busy. Taking time to reflect and figure out what I want to do and what's best for me. Met with lawyer after I found out about the affair. I have thought about that a lot recently. Nothing I can really put my finger on. In fact, most people I have told were shocked, said it was the last couple that thought this would happen to. I need to really think back and reflect. Sometimes you don't notice the small changes when you are in it daily, like a frog in room temperature to boiling water. Well, we are living apart as most of you are aware. To be honest, we haven't spoken much outside of the exchange form earlier this week, wrote a few days ago, and another exchange on Friday night. Was unfortunately more of the same, focused on herself. She was upset that some members of my family have deleted her from social media. Says my family hating her makes it harder to get back together. Seems oblivious that there are consequences to what she has done. She hurt not only me but others like my family. Doesn't seem to be empathy, remorse, or even an acknowledgement of what has happened. She seems focused on working with her therapist on what she did to contribute to what got us here. I am starting to see the writing on the wall. Well, I had her delete and block him from all social media. The other man lives in another country and is 25 miles away. I am not sure what her long-term plan was, LD relationship, one of them moves, or if she would have ditched him too and found someone local. She said she has not communicated with him in the last week, but as you all know, unblocking someone is easy to do when you are living together and able to check the phone daily. Taking time to figure that out. Not a decision I can reach in 10 days, will take a couple more weeks. I imagine would be the case for most people in my shoes. Maybe they would do things faster, but I have always been a thinker. If you had asked me 6 months ago if adultery was a deal breaker for me, I would have replied without hesitation yes, would be over that second. Maybe it's the way the chain of events transpired. 3 weeks of me thinking I was the worst husband around, beating myself up for ruining a decade-long marriage, playing the pick-me game, unknowingly. Or maybe I am just a soft heart at the end of the day. I'm not sure. As every day ticks by, I come to the realization that there has been in 10 days pretty much 0% on the part of my WS. Our conversations, while brief, revolve around minor day-to-day things. She has apologies 3 times via text, but also mention her working on herself, or what I did to contribute to this numerous times. Her reaction when confronted about the adultery in person was underwhelming. Seems more like the reaction if a teenager had their diary read. More upset about how I had found out than my actual broken heart of finding out. There was trickle truth during that 45-minute conversation. Reluctance to even block the other man, and when she messaged him it was more of a "he is going to tell your work we should stop" message than what you actually want to see. I am sure if I continue down the road there will be a lot more trickle truths. But at the end of the day, I have made the decision that I don't want to have to do polygraph and policing and monitoring. I did it for 2 days and it was not a nice feeling. I have some IC set up as the issue I have now is despite what has happened to me I still feel like a jerk if I was to do anything negative to her. It took her months to detach from me, which did do like a chameleon. I had no idea. She played it very well, making things seem like they were fine between us while carrying on with the other man. I, if anything, attached even more to her in the 4 weeks leading up to me finding out to the other man. As I was put in a position thinking her wanting to leave and being out of love with me was my shortcomings, I almost put her on a pedestal during the process. I guess I am in limbo. I know what I need to do, but I need to find the strength and self-worth to do it, which I will. Haven't talked to her in 2 days and I just get a text. Why didn't your paycheck get deposited into our joint account today? Good reply. Been exercising, seeing friends and meeting some new people via friends. Keeping very busy. Actually maybe as busy the last couple weeks as I ever have been. I have found in the last week my WW has really amped up the communication. Texting, sending me updates from her day, photos of what she is doing, discussing her family. Oddly, she never asks how I am or discusses anything to do with reality, affair, separation. It's like she is on some vacation having a fun time. I am not sure what her angle is, or if there is one. This is apparent by now. Today marks 3 weeks since I found out about the affair. I thought once confronted 17 days ago there would be a 180 in the behavior, but in reality, the giving 2 seconds it's about me has continued. Hard to wrap my head around how you treat someone like that after 14 years, but life goes on, I guess. I will be able to wrap it eventually. So, I haven't blocked yet, but here is a text from yesterday. Afternoon WW, did you want to talk, get together this weekend? If you want some more space, I understand that too. I am just asking because we talked about it a week ago, but please don't feel any pressure. Didn't reply. Nighttime WW. Why do you take so long to reply to my texts? Are you doing it because you know it will annoy me? We have talked a couple times in the last 3 days. Working on some sort of reconciliation. There is remorse there and a recognition that while she may not have been happy, the affair was her choice and a poor one. She is working with a therapist on what caused her to turn to an affair as opposed to other options, and how she can communicate her needs and feelings better in the future. But unfortunately, she at the current time finds my requests for reconciliation, access to phone, detailed timelines of affair, too controlling. She has communicated that she felt very controlled during our marriage, and these requests are further reflection of me being controlling. So, I am trying to work out a way that I can get the details I need to be able to trust without it feeling controller. I fully realize this could be an excuse as she is still knee-deep in her emotional affair. I have demanded no contact and she has said she is not in communication with the OM, but hard to trust her word obviously. Not she has animatedly denied it was every physical. I'm not sure it does matter at this point, but it would be another punch to the gut for sure. In fact, she only admits that the deeply involved emotional plus dirty affair began in late February, early March, a month or so before I found out, even though they met and began liking each other Instagram post in spring of 2019. That's why a timeline is so important to me. Though many women tell men they love them after a month of texting and whatnot. I agree, texting videos is as close to physical as you can get. Telling another man you love him while tell me you love me is worse than bonding. And yes, she met him in person for work trips, but claims in 2019 and early 2020 it was just flirting. But I do have a number of red flags from the work trips, like ghosting for an evening, calling me the next morning. She did also admit that they went out on group dinners while on work trips, but never alone. But when she was on these trips, she would also say she was going for dinner with coworkers that I knew from her company. The other man works for a different company on a joint project. But her omission of never telling me on the trips that they were doing group dinner and being very specific about going out with coworkers I knew leads me to believe they did go on dates. I did see her on weekend, came over to get more belongings. It certainly set me back a bit, old feeling and emotions came back. Easier to manipulate someone in person than over text. But I am going to proceed by stating that if my two conditions, transparency and timeline, are not meant to start, there is no need for us to talk further. Non-negotiable. Still holding a call to his HR department in my back pocket. That will be done at some point, whether as most settlement or post-R. I guess next time I ask her to book a moving truck to move all of her stuff, or I have a close friend stand in for me to supervise what she is taking. Even a call from HR and a 5 minutes of his heart beating out of his chest would be good enough for me. I certainly noticed in the weeks leading to me discovering the affair the behaviors you described above regarding the phone was there. I am just thankful that I was able to get on the once device that was forgotten about. Otherwise, I would still be doing the pick-me dance try to re-win her love while I never knew about the OM. Tomorrow marks the 5-week mark from D-Day, and this coming weekend will mark 5 weeks of separation. Not much to update in the last week. We have not spoken in several days. I am detaching, which is good. I am reflecting on not only on the weeks leading up to the separation but the entire 14-year relationship and noticing many things I would rather not live with. For me, the action of the affair was damaging, but her reaction after discovery is possible more damaging. It's been nearly 5 weeks since I confronted her, and there has been zero effort to seek forgiveness, accept blame, show remorse, make me feel any better. I think that is almost a bigger slap in the face. Shows what she cares about. My plan going forward is to divorce unless proven otherwise. We are still in nearly a full lockdown here, so I am unable to meet with a lawyer, but have discussed over the phone. Once we open back up, which should be hopefully later this month, I will start taking action. Until then I am 180 and keeping myself busy. Well, after nearly 10 full days of no contact, I got this text tonight. WW, hey, I noticed you deleted all the photos of us together on IG. You also haven't reached out to reschedule our time to chat that you canceled last Wednesday. Are you trying to tell me something without talking to me? What's going on? Update. I certainly am in a better place than I was 3 weeks ago. Much better. No, I haven't filed for divorce, but I am not scared to lose her anymore. I have realized I already have lost her. We have been separated for nearly 6 weeks. She has a boyfriend. I am making progress. To be honest, I am still living in our house. My life has not changed that much, other what my wife is no longer there. I think quarantine has a lot to do with it. I gave her a chance to work things out because I didn't have much to lose. There wasn't a lot else I could be doing. I couldn't go out. I couldn't go on a date. I was not missing out on anything by giving her a chance to come around. Where we live, you have to be separated for 52 weeks before a divorce is granted. So, whether you file in week 2 of separation or week 28 doesn't make a difference. Unless it's contested and has to go to court, which given no kids it should not be. We have serrated paychecks, car payments, and living expenses. We are each paying debts in our own name, but during operation there will have to be an evening up. Our savings account is in my own individual account and I have not touched it, just let it sit there. Certainly, in the months leading up to my D-Day she was transferring more money to her personal account from our joint account. But I didn't think anything of it. She also went on a big shopping spree on a credit card in my name in the 2 weeks between Not in Love and my D-Day, which I didn't even bat an eye at as I was trying to save marriage. My attorney has said those charges would play into any settlement though. Right after my D-Day I canceled all joint credit and changes paycheck. I am fully protected. Last weekend I received the "what's going on" text. I replied to that text the following day stating that in 5 weeks since D-Day there had been no remorse, no empathy, no regret on her part. I reiterated that I had made 2 requests, transparency, timeline, for items that would allow me to begin to heal, and those had been ignored. I stated that as she was ready to help me heal we could talk, if not we could talk about separating our lives fully. Her reply was as expected, that I haven't given her a chance to hear what she needs. I have no less than 7 things written down in my notes, that all we have talked about is what I need, that she feels my requests are another control and what she feels is already a controlling relationship, and as per her therapist, my requests are a band-aid approach when the real work needs to be me fixing my issues that caused her affair. She suggests a neutral MC to help us communicate better as she feels we are not communicating. I agreed to MC in a moment of weakness, one of many. Yes, I know, I found an affair recovery specialist in our area. He isn't available for a couple weeks though. Tuesday evening, I send a message explaining I had found someone but they are not available for a couple weeks. I send a detailed and descriptive emailing explaining that my requests are not a control, not a demand, but instead what I require to feel safe in the relationship. She has full autonomy to comply or not to comply. I once again requested 3 things. 1. Proof that she is no longer contacting other man. I walked back on my realist for full device access. 2. Detailed timeline. which included some direct questions about her relationship with other men as well and circumstances around it. 3. If she has come to point and I see where she can identify why affair happened unrelated to marriage issues. I reiterated at the end she has to do what's best for her. The things above are what I need. I respect her decision if she decides to not provide them. I know what I need to move forward. I did not explicitly threaten divorce, but the tone was there. My message was nearly 700 words in total. She replied about 24 hours later, usually had been reply in minutes, to say she does not want to discuss any of this via text or email, it has to be with a therapist. And for me to send you the MC I found so she can verify she would be comfortable with him. Total of 30 words. To me it is now clear at this point she is either 100% manipulating things or actually doesn't feel comfortable taking responsibility, or discussing her mistakes without a moderator there. I have never given her a reason to be scared of talking to me directly. So, whether this is invented or a deep-seated issue, I'm not sure. What I do know is I am at a final crossroads here. It's clear if we do go down any path it will be 100% on her terms. She can't even answer a question like is she in love with him still. Been asked 3 times now and always deflected, not answered. I think it is time to pull the plug. I don't know what's there for us if there is no remorse, accountability, anything. What she did is not a minor annoyance, it's major. I know my process has been more deliberate and softer than some would like, but it is my process, and I am slowly getting there. I am seeing the light. It's crazy how much she doesn't care. She is either the best poker player ever or she literally lost her heart and is still somehow alive. Update. I have a meeting with my lawyer today to finalize divorce papers, and I have met someone that has revitalized my love for life. I am happier now than I was at any point in the last 10 years of marriage. Everything happens for a reason and everything works out in the end. It finally happened. I filed for divorce 2 weeks ago and the floodgates opened. Gifts being left at my door, numerous texts, phone calls with messages saying she loves me and wants me back, misses me. She is telling our friends she wants to get back together. He dumped her or she realized it was not going to be long term. She has finally realized what she threw away and it's not sitting well with her. Kind of makes me happy in a way but concerned that it will get out of hand. We will see. Either way I am better off and happy. Half a year later, my separated wife and I now only speak via our lawyers. I am happy, healthy, and the second half of 2020 was probably the best of my life. I woke up most morning feeling half my age and excited for life. We are getting close to a settlement but still a ways away it seems. I have found someone who respects me and make me truly happy. I am better off. Life is too short to stay with a WW. Sounds weird, but my wife having an EA was the best thing to happen to me. Onwards and upwards to anyone dealing with an EA. My comment, so happy that your ex-wife's EA awakened you to leaving and now you are so much happier. You took a really hard step and many stay in marriages with cheaters out of fear. Hopefully others in your situation read this and see how it's possible to make it to the other side. Congrats.